Hello once again, and thank you for joining me in another episode of the Crosstalk. If you've been following me, we are going to be talking about what better explains reality, the Islamic doctrine of Fitra or the Christian doctrine of the original sin. So if you watched the first video on this series, one of the striking things that we spoke about was the definition of the Islamic doctrine of Fitra. And one of the parts of the definition was taken from the Islamic encyclopedia that said that man is born good, but with an immutable, an unchanging, an unhindering inclination toward good, right? That he is predisposed to doing good. And so we spoke a little bit about that, and if that makes sense, and I left a question, is for all my listeners and my viewers, is that I encouraged everyone to look at reality, study history, and answer the question if the Islamic doctrine of Fitra actually corresponds with historic events, if it corresponds with your immediate life circumstances. So after that you've done that, today's video is just going to be looking at a few secular psychologists, a philosopher, and just secular resources, and just looking at how they view reality. Okay, so the first one is Freud. Freud was the father of modern psychology. Though most of his theories are refuted, but one of the primary things that he did was he laid a foundation for modern psychology. And as I read his work, one of the striking things that he spoke about was that every human being has what he calls the death drive. So the death drive is something that creates conflict within a human being, and that conflict then creates aggression from within a human being that then manifests outside. The second resource is Abraham Maslow, and I'm going to be using his hierarchy of needs in response to something Yasser Qadhi said. He said that about the doctrine of Fitra, that true happiness, right? Please pay attention on the word that I'm using. Happiness is achieved when Fitra is exercised by finding Allah, etc. Now, looking at Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs, in all the steps of hierarchy of needs, all the way to actualization, happiness can be achieved by material things. If, for example, the first step to actualization for any human to be a complete being, religion doesn't play any role in it. And so Yasser al-Qadhi making a suggestion about happiness doesn't really play or does not have much weight on this issue of happiness, because to be honest, I myself have seen atheists happy in this world living a normal life. I have found Buddhists who are happy. I have found Christians who are very happy. I have found Hindus that are very happy. So to be happy, religion is not necessary. Okay? If you're going to talk about joy, that's a different discussion, but we're talking about happiness, the specific word that Yasser Qadhi uses, which I think that is misleading and irresponsible on his part anyways. Now, there's another senior lecturer at University of Sydney. He's on the philosophy department. A very profound observation he makes, and that is that evil exists. Why his observation is profound is because he is a secular philosopher who looks around and studies history, and he sees something seriously wrong with the world, and he concludes that nothing else can be the cause, but for a lack of a better word, it can't be anything besides evil. And his conclusion on that evil exists is is based on his study of history. Another resource I would like to use when talking about the human experience is a secular Indian band called The Strings. And the song basically they write is based on and is an exposition of human experience in this life. And so the song goes, "This is my life story, a quiet life story. The silence around me asks of me, why do you go on tolerating evils? The story of my pain is an old story, told by my loneliness, that every wound shares a story of its own. From within arms of sharp, thorny memories, I choose my life. At the feet of collapsing walls do I live. This is my life story." Hurt and destruction. What makes my Muslim friends or anyone at that embrace this belief that human beings are born good? Now, the issue is this. If you suggest that evils exist, who's the one who's committing these evils? Now, before I go on talking about all these resources, etc., one of the things that I do want to make clear is that I'm in no way propagating these secular resources. I'm not saying that they are true. I'm not saying that they're right. All I'm doing is I'm using these secular resources to just simply point out that even secularists acknowledge that evil exists. Now, my question would be, is that who is the one committing these evils? Are these evils happening on their own, or is it the doing of men? And I will say that these evils exist because men commit these evil acts. It would be highly irresponsible of me to put the blame of the evils and the wrongs that I do on somebody else. Moreover, when I look at a child at the age of 2 or 3, that child begins to lie. It begins to express its selfishness. What do I say then? Do I say, if I embrace the Islamic doctrine of Fitra, do I say that that child is being taught to lie and to be selfish? I think that that would be highly irresponsible of me as well. I'm not saying there's no child in this world that's being taught evils, but not every child is being taught that. But yet every child from such an age begins to lie. Instead, what we do is, and what my experience, and I think that most parents would experience, is that you have to teach your child to tell the truth instead of telling lies. You have to teach your child to share. You have to teach your child not to hit, and not to be selfish, not to throw tantrums, and not to exercise these evils that big people, grown up and adults, are still practicing. We have to teach good morals and discourage evil behavior, because that is innate in human behavior. Is man born good? Are we predisposed to good? I would need to see evidence for that in this world. I would need to see evidence that man is actually born good. And I have seen, you see, 1 or 2 acts of good does not show me that man is entirely born good, but that man is capable of doing some good. But that primary inclination is towards selfishness at the cost of any other human being. Being honest with yourself. Look around yourself. Don't even look around yourself. Look within yourself and ask this question of yourself. Did you have any evil thoughts today? Were you selfish today at all? And so if you were, why were you? Do you want to be selfish? Did you wake up this morning and be like, okay, did you encourage yourself like, today I must be selfish? And did you train yourself for this day to act selfishly? Or was that easier for you to do because you are inclined more towards evil and selfishness than good? Pride comes easy. Humility comes with much more labor, does it not? My question, once again, to all my viewers is this. Look around you and compare the Islamic doctrine of Fitra with reality. And answer this question. Does the Islamic doctrine of Fitra correspond with reality? Does it make sense? And for me as an ex-Muslim, then this is what becomes one of the most primary points by which I am convinced that Islam is false, because Islam fails to deal with the very foundational issue, and that is this, that man is a sinner. Man is evil in all his doings. He is the one that loves evil things. And I see that in myself, in my children, in everyone around me. And so what is the solution to all of these evils? Is it that, oh, this evil man must just stop doing evil? But then the frustration is that the evil men can't stop doing evil because they love to do evil. And then Christianity comes with an answer to say that Christ paid this price and now he is here to change your heart. It is a supernatural event, a supernatural response and an answer, a solution which comes from God, and it is not left to man to make that decision that you evil men now start just simply doing good. That is a very impractical solution. And so, once again, my viewers, question this. Is man born good? If yes, compare it with reality. And if you question and begin to doubt that man is born good, with a predisposition toward good, etc., and you are convinced that men are born evil and sinners, etc., with that predisposition toward, that inclination toward evil and sin, then what is the solution, the ultimate solution for our humanity's problem of sin? It cannot be man. It has to be God. My name is Shamoon, and I'll see you soon.